begin the hour with developments in Burundi, where the African Union's Peace and Security Council has proposed sending 5,000 peacekeepers to Burundi, invoking a rule which allows it to deploy a force without the consent of Burundi's leader. Burundi's presidency is yet to react to the newest proposal by the African Union. However, it has previously rejected calls for a peacekeeping mission. Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza has 96 hours to respond to the African Union resolution, which was drawn up late on Thursday and is likely to be approved by the African Union's Peace and Security Council in coming days. While Burundi's representatives to the United Nations has been condemned for comments made on Thursday, praising what she termed as professionalism shown by the police and army corps during recent violent outbursts. Elisa Nkerabirori told delegates at a UN session that authorities had worked for the innocent populations. The comment was seized on by the U.S. representative to the United Nations Human Rights Council, Keith Harper. He said he had allegations police and the army had tied people up and shot them. After a U.S.-led diplomatic push, the 47-member Human Rights Council, which counts Burundi among its members, approved the recommendations that the United Nations Human Rights Chief should send in a mission of experts who are to report regularly on the rights situation in Burundi. The UN Human Rights Chief Zaid Rad al-Hussein told the Council that at least 400 people have been killed since April the 26th, and nearly 3,500 have been arrested in the political crisis.
Today, the Human Rights Council accepted a resolution to avert the escalation and expansion of the killing in Burundi. Today's special session is an attempt to prevent, and that's a key word, prevent mass atrocities by focusing attention and providing expert assistance in the region before it is too late.
Today's session with the resolution that was adopted, we now have a powerful tool. It's the strongest, I believe, and the quickest mechanisms that can be deployed, looking at all violations, all perpetrators in a manner that will be swift, in a manner that will be effective, and in a manner that will be to good use for trying to help, namely what we want to achieve, namely a political process, inclusive one, that will overcome the problems that we see in Burundi these days.
Well, let's get more now on that situation in Burundi. CCTV's Robert Nagila is joining us live from the capital, Bujumbura. Robert, the African Union's Peace and Security Council is now reported to be seeking the deployment of up to 5,000 African Union troops to Burundi. Is this a proposal we expect Burundi to support, though?
Well, Beatrice, that's the million-dollar question over here on the ground. Now, to understand this decision, there are three different aspects that you can approach it. Number one, what the African Union has done has basically given Burundi's president, that is Pierre Nkurunziza, very little room to maneuver. At the same time, and this is number two, they've also left him with space to save face, so to speak, saving grace. And number three, perhaps more important, what the African Union is doing is they've basically left themselves with some ammunition, just in case this does not go as they envisaged. Now, according to the African Union, Burundi basically has 96 hours in which to react to that proposal and accept it. However, we also need to remember that this is just a draft proposal. It still has to go before the United Nations Security Council to be approved before it can then become law, so to speak. Now, only after it has been approved by the United Nations Security Council can the African Union then begin to start thinking of putting together a force. Now, this standby force, of course, will be made up of East African countries, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. But then again, Burundi has got to be able to react to it and accept it or disagree. Now, just in case it disagrees with this particular proposal, then the African Union has left with some ammunition, as I said. They can invoke a charter within the chapters of the African Union, which basically allows them to send in a foreign force without consent of the leader of that particular country, in this case Burundi. Now, this is a situation that neither the African Union or Burundi would definitely want to get to. They would hope that the situation would be resolved long before it gets to that particular point. So this is where we are at the moment. We're still waiting to get reaction from the government of President Pierre Nkurunziza.
Well, Robert, with up to 87 people reportedly killed in the last week, how is the situation in Bujumbura at the moment?
Well, the situation in Bujumbura, the capital, is very, very calm as we speak. As we've been talking about subsequent reports leading to today, there are security forces all around the country, and even as we're speaking, well, we just can't show you, but we do have a security unit right behind our camera. Of course, they came to inquire exactly whether we had permission to be here and what we were doing. But the situation in the capital is calm. There are security patrols all over the place. However, as you're about to see in this next report, this is a city that is perhaps, you could say, leading a double life.
The crowds are back on the streets. Most businesses reopened. And the roads experiencing traffic once again. But beneath the surface, it is clear the city is still on edge. A heavy security presence, both police and military, at virtually every corner you turn to. There are numerous roadblocks in and around the city. We're not allowed to film them. Attempts to speak to the people are met with silence. Fear of reprisals and suspicion at whoever may be eavesdropping. The African Union says it is concerned of reports of people forced to flee from their homes and the continuing flow of refugees. A sentiment echoed by the International Committee of the Red Cross.
According to some sources, we have about 200,000 people who fled abroad. What we don't know exactly is the number of people displaced internally. We're not sure of any figure.
And with several countries withdrawing budgetary support, the impact on the civilian population is likely to have far-reaching consequences.
The main concern is how people are suffering from the situation and how they will cope with the current situation, knowing that nowadays the main urgent thing is about food, is about medical supplies, and is about how those people actually that are wounded in the violence will be treated in those hospitals.
The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is sending a special envoy to hold talks with regional governments and authorities here in Bujumbura. There is a fear, though, this small East African nation is spiraling out of control towards civil war, worse still, genocide. And on the streets, resignation of more violence to come.
Robert Nagela, CCTV, Bujumbura, Burundi. Now, worthy of note, two things that perhaps we need to look at. Number one, the fact that several donor countries have withdrawn their funds, budgetary support to the government of Burundi, is hurting the people of Burundi. Medical services are suffering. Food prices have skyrocketed as well, and this situation is bound to get worse unless the situation is resolved. The second thing that perhaps we need to take note of is it's exactly 1 week since those devastating attacks last Friday, when there were simultaneous, coordinated and well-organized attacks against the military here. Of course, we've heard from the government since then saying that the military behaved with the utmost professionalism in restoring peace, security and order to the capital of Bujumbura.
Robert Nagila for us there, following all the developments in Burundi. Thank you.